Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today I'm going to be talking about how X-Wing is pretty difficult for beginners to get started. Not in the purchasing sense, because I think X-Wing 2.0 has actually made that a lot easier. You can buy a conversion kit and buy the old ships, or you can just buy one faction of your choice going forward, and you could just start with the 2.0 waves. What I actually want to talk about is finding suitable games. Now, Katie doesn't really, she's not that interested in X-Wing, she's more interested in Legion. So really, X-Wing wise, I don't have anybody to play with in my house. So I need to leave the house, which is obviously a bad thing. I'm not happy about that. But yeah, so I've got two options. There's like Stormforge, which is quite local, but there's not really Any X-Wing events. They do have they did the I want to say Attack on Alpha Centauri, Custom, whatever it was, the co-op game that they played. I think they played that on Thursdays. There's quite a few of them there that do play X-Wing, but I'd probably have to organise it on Facebook and play some pickup games, which just with the way my life is at the minute, it's a little bit awkward to do that, but that's an option for sure. The alternative option, Element Games, they have a group that meets on Tuesday nights. I could go there, but it's after work again. Basically, the timing of me getting pickup games isn't ideal. I sort of want something like Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday or Sunday, probably not together. And so I went to the Element Games event that just happened. It was like a X-Wing 2.0 release party. The second one, I couldn't make it to the first one for whatever reason, and quite frankly, I got smashed. Right, but I sort of expected that. It was like these guys. Don't get me wrong, everybody was incredibly friendly and welcoming. I was like, look, I have no idea what I'm properly doing here. So they explained, in basic senses, and yeah, the games were possibly a bit slow because of that. And when I say I got smashed, I think my worst result was probably 120 to 80, or maybe even 200 to 80, because I did right at the end of the turn, I was trying stupid stuff to try and get back in the game. And the closest game pretty much came down to one or two dice rolls. If I would have caused one more wound on one of the ships, I would have won. And literally on the last turn of the dice, my guy could either explode or not explode. Not literally the last turn, but near enough. And he exploded, so a crit or a blank would have saved him, just a hit would have killed him. I think that was the case anyway. And again, I would have won. So I came close in one game, but I could tell that pretty much all my opponents were far superior to I am, which makes sense, because I think most of these guys will have played more of X-Wing 2.0 than I have played of X-Wing 1 or before. I haven't played X-Wing in ages, I think probably over a year, and I hadn't played X-Wing 2 at all. I opened the conversion kit the night before, right? All fine, I'm a beginner, and these people are sort of, I don't want to say experts because the game's still young, but you know what I mean, they obviously know what they're doing. People have researched the list and stuff like that, and I was winging mine all the way up until the end. I got smashed. Fair enough, that's fine. The one thing I want to say though is so if you're a beginner and you go to an event now, that's probably the same thing that's going to happen to yourself. So really, what's your alternative? They don't really do beginner tournaments. It's not really a thing. Maybe it is around yours. So you can either pick up games or have the baptisms of fire that I had. Now, I'm fairly sure everybody will be friendly. You just say you're new, you're not trying to do anything crazy, you're just trying to learn the game. Most people will be forgiving, especially once you've lost the first couple of games. If you're down near the bottom anyway, nobody's really so bothered. Yeah, so obviously I learned all the rules. I was pretty good on the rules, and that kind of stuff. But what I want to get round to here isn't just oh, I lost, it's hard to get into, because you possibly much better than I am, and you'll pick it up much quicker and you'll research it quicker. What I want to say is it's not really a solution to this, but I'm wondering if people want to join my Discord, because just to separate yourself from the X-Wing Discord, which I do actually recommend that you check out. I've been asking questions in there, everybody's friendly in there. But I thought maybe it would be a nice idea to collect a group of us who can play on Tabletop Simulator, who aren't very good, or are just either not very good or are new. If you're really good, probably not relevant to yourself. You can probably just pick up, I would just suggest just going to the X-Wing Discord and you'll be fine. But if you've got Tabletop Simulator and you want to join my Discord, one, If you're new, I will play you, and if for some miraculous reason I was better than you, I would help you either learn the game or get better. And two, I would quite like to find someone who's like quite good at the game, who would maybe help occasionally watch some of the games if somebody was having like specific issues, or maybe talk them through. I can't offer that right now because obviously I'm not very good, but what I can say is that I'm in the Discord, I have Tabletop Simulator, I have proper internet at this point, proper-ish, that I can like play games, stream, all that kind of stuff. So you'll be seeing X-Wing, not X-Wing, you will be seeing X-Wing, Legion battle reports hopefully when we finish painting, but I'll get onto that in a minute. So yeah, this is more of a, it's difficult if you don't have pickup games and you don't want to go to a tournament and just get wrecked. Right, what do you have? Yeah, you can do maybe demo games, or you've got maybe somebody who lives in your house, like maybe your partner or a friend or a kid. Maybe if you've got those people, that's also fine. But if you're like me and just really can only get to events, but you've got Tabletop Simulator, well, that's the best offer I can do. Like, it's not unreasonable. If anything, it's sort of a relief that people who are better than me beat me. Like, that's sort of what you would expect. And I was quite happy in a sense, not like with the way that I played. I learned so much just from going from game 1 to like game 4 or whatever it was. Just, you know, in like a big way, like in things changing and me getting better and that kind of stuff. And there was a part, apart from my hair's going crazy, there was a point where I did like this. I'm not sure, it's not necessarily a good move in the fact that it was a sensible move, but it was everything that I planned paid off, if that made sense. So what I ended up doing with one of my defenders, I did like a K turn, and I went with him first. Then I deliberately bumped myself doing like a 1 bank, so that I would be facing that way, and I knew my opponent would probably be bumping me. So what I was like, basically in my head was like, either I'm going to be able to shoot him this way, or he'll fly over me and I'll shoot him that way. Now, whether or not that was a good move doesn't matter. I was just happy that I pulled it off, because it meant that I could predict, like, I knew where the K turn would land, I knew that my 1 bank would bump into it further up, and I was like, right, the fact that I can see the board and work the board okay is at least a decent starting point. What I need to get better on is overall strategy in the game, overall probably list building, and you know, that's it. I think when it comes to X-Wing, a lot of the people I spoke to, the best way to get better is to play as many games as you can, and that's why I'm suggesting for us noobs, us beginners, that's what we do. We get on Tabletop Simulator and we play. And if not, if you don't want to play though, that's fine. I'm going through this journey of going from noob to hopefully mildly competent. If I learn anything and I reveal anything, I'll be sharing my journey with yourselves. I'm not really sure I'll be able to do battle reports, as I just mentioned, because Katie's not that into it, and I don't want to get to a point where I've practiced so much and I'm just beating Katie because she hasn't practiced. So I would possibly need somebody to come visit my house. If you're good at X-Wing and you're willing to visit my house and not get murdered, which I can pretty much guarantee you won't get murdered. We do have a cute dog who's barking all the time, but apart from that, it's not really an issue. Then do let me know. Like, just contact me either in the Discord or what have you. If you'd be happy to do a battle report, like with me just filming it. Probably wouldn't need you to talk in it, but you know, we'll get there. I'll put that out another time. For now, I just wanted to say X-Wing's quite hard to get into. My solution to this is that we play on Tabletop Simulator, a bunch of noobs. Please join me. It doesn't matter if you don't, it's fine. The alternatives to that are try and get a friend, try and have a child, try and do pickup games. As many games as you can, the better you'll get, I think. And you know, I think like watching battle reports is probably a good idea as well. So those are 2 things. So it's don't do, unless you're like got like your ego is fine. Like, I'm happy to get beat when because I can rationalize that I was obviously going to get beat. But if that would be a problem for you, don't go to a tournament straight off the bat, because these guys are probably going to be quite good, unless it advertises itself as like noob only tournament. Then crack on. So that's my one piece of advice. Avoid a tournament if you can't hack it. Tournaments are great though to just get as many games in as possible in a short period of time, so I do recommend them in that sense. But yeah, I'm going on this journey. Hopefully you'll join me. Yeah, all my videos I'm like, this is very different from my previous video. No, it's not. They're all the same. Just they're all nonsense. Do like and subscribe. I'm working on camera. I changed camera today. Do like and subscribe. Thank you to all my patrons. I do really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have a most beautiful day and goodbye. Bye, guys.